Alright guys, so today what I'm going to be showing you guys is how to breed crested geckos. Basically, what I want to just say first is that this method is what I've used and I've had success with. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. Just trying to put a new mind for people who have never bred crested before. I've had eggs before, and I've also had a couple eggs hatch, so I do have experience. Let's start off by mentioning what a male and female crested gecko look like. Right here in my hand I have a male who's in shed. As you can see right there, he has a large bulge where the hemipenes enlarges. Wait, how you know when they're mature? Right there, you can see if he's not in the camera. What are you doing, dude? Calm down, bro. Alright, there you can see it's a large bulge. So we're going to put him back. And then right here is my female, Waldette. And if she would get off of the thing, I can grab her. Okay, here we go. And as you can see, no bulge, just a flat base of a tail. Put her back in. Come on. Alright, so that's how you tell the difference between a male and a female. Males should be around 40 grams before you breed them. Females should be about 35. You want to keep them in a ratio of either 3 females to 1 male, or you can do 4 females to 1 male, even 5 females to 1 male if you have a big enough cage. You want to avoid 1 to 1, which is 1 female to 1 male, because the female can get overly stressed if you have her constantly breeding with the same male. She won't be able to escape or anything. What you want to make sure is that your female is at least a year, and I'm going to say like 8 months. Weight is a little bit more of a factor in breeding than age, but some people even push to about 2 years before you breed. It really depends on how big your crested is. She's right here. She's 2 years. He's about 2 years and 5 months. So all my cresteds when I breed them are about 2 years, but that's just by the age I get. I'm not my choice. What you also want to make sure is that you have a lot of cover. For the females to avoid the male if it's not time for them to breed yet. You'll know when a female is ready to breed because when the male jumps on top of her and bites her neck, she will lift her tail up like this if she's receptive. If she's not receptive, she'll bite him back and scurry away. That's normal. Don't interrupt them when they're actually trying to breed, because all it does is just interrupt it and it's not natural. The female is able to get away herself if she really wants to, and sometimes the female will not breed with the male because one, he's too small, or either she's just not ovulating at the time. A cooling period is not necessary. Some people do it though. Basically, a cooling period is just when you change the temperature manually to affect their breeding. I don't do it. I've never had a problem with it. I like to just let the natural seasons affect their breeding. The best time to breed them is anywhere between February and August. That's what I've had most success with. You always want to have a lay box in their enclosure. If you don't include a lay box, they'll lay on the ground, and it's a lot harder to keep the eggs moisturized, and they will end up drying out, getting dents in them, and it's bigger chance of fatality for the egg. Fill the lay box with Eco Earth. It's the best thing to do. Make sure it's moist, like I said, so the cresteds will lay in there. Best food to give them is Rapashi Crested Gecko diet, and you always want to make sure that they have a good amount of D3. And the best way to do that is while they're gravid, the best thing to give them is either crickets, dubia roaches, soup worms, anything that can give them D3. Obviously, the insects don't have the D3. You need to put the calcium powder on it. So you want to make sure they have a lot of D3, or the eggs can become bound in her stomach and she won't be able to lay them, and chances are she'll end up dying. So you want to make sure that you give them enough calcium. You definitely... Okay, the crested just took a big fall. You want to make sure that you're watching the temperatures, that humidity is staying at a good 70-80%. The temperature is not exceeding 80 degrees. You want to keep an eye on that. So that's really it with that part of it. Now going on to the incubation, you want to make the cresteds will take about, when laid, they'll take about 60 to 70 days to hatch. You want to put them in a tight deli cup, like this, a deli container, with the substrate on the bottom with medium. I'll show you guys in a second. I'll go downstairs. And you want to make sure that you check the eggs every week by opening up the container and closing it every week or so to make sure the eggs are fine. And now we're going to head downstairs where I'm going to show you what kind of mediums you can use. Sorry that this video is kind of fast. I don't have a lot of time, and we'll get right to it. What's up, guys? Now we're downstairs where we have my incubation mediums. I got my vermiculite, my hatchite, and this is not an incubation medium. This is EcoEarth. This is what you want to put in your lay box. When the geckos are getting ready to lay their eggs, put this in the lay box. This is really good for them. I wouldn't recommend using vermiculite for the lay box. I would recommend using EcoEarth for the lay box. Vermiculite can be used for the actual medium where you're putting the eggs after they're laid. I've never personally used vermiculite, but I know it's one of the greatest because the most success has come out of using vermiculite. If you have your mind on set on doing it, I can't help you, but if you look at other videos, they will definitely tell you how to perfectly mix the water with the vermiculite. That's why I like hatchite personally, because all you need to do is put it in a container, put it in a deli, and then add a little bit of water. It says you don't have to, but you always want to. And then put your eggs there. Use your thumb as an imprint. Put the eggs in so that half of the egg is covered with the incubation medium. All right. So that's that. Oh, and super hatch. Like I was saying, I think about super hatch. Super hatch is just like another thing for hatchite, except it just changes colors when it's ready or something. I don't know, something like that. That's what hatchite is. Okay, that's just another lay box I have. This is the kind of deli cup, no, what is this? Deli container you're going to want to use for when you have eggs. It's an airtight sealer container. It's really good because it won't let any air out, and then every week you want to open it up and put it and close it back and check on it every week or so. Alright, so that's that. And now since we're down here, we're going to check. I'm going to tell you guys now how to make a custom little setup for when your crested gecko hatches. The crested geckos usually hatch in about 60 to 70 days, depending on temperature. Obviously, the lower temperature will take longer, but make healthier, stronger babies. I incubated about 75 degrees, and it takes about 65 days for me, because I have a couple eggs ready to hatch soon. It's at the 65-day mark. So this is basically what you're going to need for a little crested gecko enclosure. Babies are going to be about this size, maybe a little bit smaller. This one's about 3 months. This is a baby crested gecko. Perfect size enclosure, a little bin, better than a tank. It's got plant for hiding, and all it needs is just some crested gecko diet to eat. Make sure the deli cup is big enough for him to actually eat, and it's not too big so he can't get into it. And then you always want to make sure you have a mister available just to spray it down. But that's really all you need for a little baby crested gecko enclosure. Oh, another thing is make sure you always have paper towel at the bottom, nothing else, especially at this size. The paction's very deadly for stuff at this size. So that pretty much wraps up my video on how to breed crested geckos. I probably missed some stuff because I was going pretty fast. If you have any questions, please feel free to just leave a comment right on this video, and I will get to it as soon as I see it. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helped, though, and I'll see you later.